Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
First at 5, a new kinship law signed today aiming to expand kinship care in the state of South Carolina. That's when loved ones care for a child when their parents are not able to do that. We're going to explain in just a moment.
But first, a local judge sends a strong message to bad contractors. If your bad business becomes criminal, you will go to prison.
The pool contractors at the center of this I-team investigation are now in the Columbia Jail, the Columbia County Jail, waiting to be transferred to a Georgia State prison.
Bruce and Heather Alford were handcuffed and taken into custody almost immediately after Judge James Blanchard sentenced them both to 40 years with 15 years in prison. The I-team first exposed their scam related to their now defunct company, Georgia Line of Pools, back in 2018. At first, their victims were told it was a civil matter, but once they found each other and started comparing stories, and then the I-team got involved, a pattern of criminal behavior quickly emerged. Wednesday, they both entered an Alford plea to 27 felony charges connected to 27 pools. It's essentially a guilty plea where they don't admit guilt, just that there's enough evidence to convict. Their prison sentence definitely sets a precedent in Columbia County.
I think more it was to make a statement that you can't get away doing business like this. You can't just blame it on, I made a mistake, or oops. You impacted 27 families.
If you're out there and you're screwing somebody and you're taking their money and you're just shutting the door and walking away, Columbia County's not going to allow that to happen.
The Alford sentence also sends another message, this one to victims of all scams. It shows how a group of people refused to take no for an answer and kept fighting for justice. Find out how they took on the system and won. That's coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Right now, about 1 in 5 foster children in the state of South Carolina's custody are living with a relative who is not their parent.
A new state law aims to increase that number so more kids are living with a loved one they know if they can't be with mom or dad. Our State House reporter Mary Green explains how it works.
Republican Senator Katrina Shealy, who sponsored this legislation, says this new law will protect more of South Carolina's children by placing them in a safe environment and reducing the trauma that kids can experience when they're removed from their homes.
Being pro-life, a pro-life state, should mean that we provide the best possible environment for all children and families.
Shealy and other state leaders say this new law is one way South Carolina can do that. And Governor Henry McMaster ceremonially signed it Thursday in North Charleston to celebrate the change. It expands the definition of kinship care, which is when a loved one cares for a child when their parent isn't able to now include fictive kin. Those are people who aren't related by birth, marriage, or adoption to a child, but share a significant emotional relationship with them, like a family friend, neighbor, or a coach. The new law allows these caregivers to receive support and resources from the state to help them as they help the children.
There were lots of needs for the children. They were going through so much. They needed financial help, and there were mental problems. So there's so many needs that we have. So I'm glad for today.
And South Carolina is now one of 29 states with this type of law in place. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
The DSS Director Michael Leach says the work is far from done to help children in South Carolina's foster system.
He says next year he'd like the state legislature to approve a type of program that supports permanent placements for foster children living with kinship caregivers if they are out of state custody.
Much more news ahead. Let's give you a live look out.
95, feeling like 101. Have a look at those fall temps for the weekend, though, in just about 10 minutes.
All right, here's some devastating news out of Spartanburg. Investigators there say a three-year-old shot and killed his own mother after finding a gun. Reports say it happened yesterday morning on South Pine Street. Authorities say the victim, Cora Bush, was taken to the hospital where she died. We still don't know where or even how that 3-year-old child found the gun. Right now, there are no charges in the case, but the case is still under investigation.
A mother's mysterious disappearance now takes an even darker turn. 59-year-old Deborah Collier from Athens found dead in northeast Georgia.
The details are very difficult to hear, and they're even more difficult for me to say. Her body was found naked and burned. Zach Summers has the latest in the investigation.
More than a week after authorities pinged Debbie Collier's car near a wooded area just south of Tallulah Falls in Habersham County, investigators continue to search for the person who killed the 59-year-old mother of two.
My mom was my everything. Somebody took my whole world from me.
Debbie's daughter, Amanda, and her stepfather, Stephen, reported her mother missing on the evening of September 10th. Stephen said he'd seen his wife the night before and that her rental was still in the driveway when he left for work that morning.
I started going to all the different places that I thought she would go, like Walmart, Ulta. I mean, I drove around for at least 2 hours.
At 3:17 that afternoon, Amanda told police she received $2,385 from her mom via Venmo. The money transfer included a message that said, quote, "They're not going to let me go. Love you. There is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door."
Immediate hysterical. I'd never been through this before.
When authorities located Debbie's car, they found a red tote bag, down an embankment, a partially burnt tarp, and Debbie's clothesless body.
She was a beautiful, kind, giving woman. And she didn't deserve anything.
Amanda says the last time she saw her mom was Friday night. They ate dinner, ran some errands, and went home separately. She had this message for her mother's killer.
I just want them to rot in hell. I do, sir. I mean, it's not going to take my pain away. I know it's not. But I want justice for my mom.
Wow, just devastating. That daughter's pain, just palpable. Habersham County deputies are leading the investigation.
So far, no suspects named, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out any other details about a disturbing case there in North Georgia. Here's some crazy video out of California. An unruly passenger hitting an American Airlines flight attendant before going back to his seat. The FBI leading this investigation. They say the passenger was arrested once the plane landed. It was going from Mexico to LA. A witness telling authorities passengers on board helped restrain the man until the plane landed. Officials are not releasing the suspect's name or why all of this escalated the way it did, but American Airlines says violence on board the flights will not be tolerated, and that suspect is now banned from their flights. The power of a heartbeat. Still to come, one man sharing his heart transplant story while honoring and connecting with his donor and his family.
Well, believe it or not, we are actually tracking some rain on Doppler Max radar. A nice little downpour across Columbia County heading towards us here in Augusta. This is all thanks to the front bringing us a taste of fall. Full forecast just after break.
Time for us to slack on the flavor. Checkers $5 meal deal. You've earned it.
The gift of life comes in many forms, and tonight at 5 o'clock, a heart transplant recipient sharing his story with others while also honoring that donor.
Jasmina Alston explains.
This video shows when Vanessa first heard her brother's heartbeat after his death. Daniel's heart is now beating to keep Steve Hilfiger alive. Daniel was Hilfiger's organ donor.
We can't change either scenario. Like, there's nothing that can be done about the tragedy, but there is hope in organ donations.
Since receiving his new heart, Hilfiger has started 2 foundations to promote organ donation and to cure cardiac sarcoidosis, which caused his heart failure. Now Hilfiger is in Atlanta for the Elton John concert, and to share that message, he will attend the show with Daniel's sister, Vanessa.
The lyrics of the song Daniel are so strikingly similar to the life of the man Daniel.
Hilfiger hopes that Elton John will honor Daniel before performing his song by the same name. It will also be an opportunity for Vanessa to hear her brother's heartbeat again.
As far as the East is from the West in terms of these emotions, you've got the tragedy on one end and the grief, and then you've got the gift of life and a second chance. Someone who's about to die gets to live. Someone unfortunately has to pass for organ donation.
He is also hoping for legislation in his home state of Florida to help with research of early detection of cardiac sarcoidosis.
It's always impressive when those families get together, the donor and the recipient, and it just means a lot for that sister to hear her brother's heart still beating.
It's an emotional moment for everyone, for sure.
It really is. Amazing. Taking a look now at some video of Hurricane Fiona from way up above, a satellite shot over Turks and Caicos. You can see just how massive that storm is. It's already caused some severe flooding and mudslides in Puerto Rico. We know about that. And the Dominican Republic. Officials say the storm has killed at least 5 people so far. In Bermuda, people already prepping for what's to come. That storm could hit there by tonight. Afterwards, the storm expected to make its way, as Anthony's been saying, and Riley throughout the afternoon, on northward to Canada. But those folks are bracing all up and down the eastern seaboard.
Oh yeah, growing up on the South Carolina coast, I'm very familiar with the look of boards on windows and doors like that. And locally, we haven't been impacted by any hurricanes or major storms so far this season, but here is some news you can use if we are impacted. The CDC says if storms are coming and the power goes out, make sure you have frozen water or gel packs to keep food cold. Food will only last in the fridge for about 4 hours or so. After that, it needs to go into a cooler. If the freezer is full, food can last up to 2 days. If it's only about half full, food will last up to a full day. Once the storm passes, remember, if in doubt, throw it out. Without a cooler or cold surface, things like eggs, milk, and leftovers definitely need to go. And I learned that firsthand after the ice storm. I had some coleslaw, and I did not need to have that coleslaw, and let's just say I paid for it for the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that could be expensive when your food starts to spoil.
Yep.
And Riley, we've seen the impacts of those storms in the Northeast, because even Superstorm Sandy was a Category 1 hurricane. It can be devastating, as we give you a different look here of the Savannah River. Beautiful weather here in the Southeast.
It is a very hot lap.
Slack on the flavor. Checkers $5 meal deal. You've earned it.
Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
Drugs, sexual harassment, and policy violations, all detailed in newly obtained documents from the Augusta Fire Department.
Our Will Rio just went through those documents, and he's live in the newsroom now to break down what we need to know about it. Will?
Well, an investigation just wrapped up with the Augusta Fire Department looking into allegations of sexual assault, drug use, sexual harassment, and social media policies involving an adult-only subscription service called OnlyFans. Now, the investigation found that evidence does not support a firefighter discriminated against a female firefighter based on her sex. They found there is no evidence that sexual activities happened between 2 firefighters at a fire station. Now, guests of the opposite sex are not allowed in the station after hours. They did find that the female firefighter was out on workers' comp, and they should have known that she was not allowed in the station after hours. Now, the female firefighter would often go to other fire stations to hang out and ask for money, and this should have been stopped by the fire department chain of command. And the female firefighter also should not have had keys to the station when she was assigned to a different station. And when multiple firefighters were sent invitations to OnlyFans, they should have reported it, but they did not. That violated social media policies. Now, recommendations of this investigation: the female firefighter should be terminated because her behavior breaks several policies with the fire department. Disciplinary action should be handed down to firefighters who knew about the OnlyFans account and chose to ignore the situation. Now, reprimand for the male firefighter involved should also happen. Now, refresher training on social media policy is being recommended, and an audit for all station keys with the firefighters. Now, it's a very extensive report. It's a 122-page report, and we'll continue to look into it and update you as we learn more about this investigation.
Well, thanks to the live update from the newsroom as we give you a live look outside.
Starting to see a few raindrops on the lens here. Have an update on that cooler weekend forecast in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks a lot. Investigators looking for information in the murder of an Allendale man, and a $5,000 reward is offered in the case. The man on your screen right there is the victim, 33-year-old Jonathan Papa Priester. Back in January, his body was found in an abandoned home on Wilson Street. To submit a tip in the case, call 843-554-1111. You can get an additional $1,000 if your tip leads to an arrest. We also have an update on yesterday's suspicious death investigation in Augusta. The Richmond County Coroner's Office says the body of 38-year-old Latoya Denise Coley was found at her home on Castleton Court. No word so far on any suspect there.
This weekend is Iron Man, so if you're heading downtown over the next few days, expect a lot of people and eventually some road closures. This is video from past Iron Man races. This Sunday, Iron Man kicks off at 7 a.m. with a 1.2-mile swim. Then competitors will bike 56 miles into South Augusta. And no, it's not over. From there, they'll run 13 miles through downtown. Areas around Broad Street will be closed that day. Expect police in other parts of town where the competition will be. There are more than 3,000 people competing, and even if you're not, organizers say you can get in on this action.
I think one of the best parts of this race is it's a very spectator-friendly course, and anyone can get a great look anywhere on Broad Street and Green Street if you're in downtown.
The 5th Street Bridge will be open in downtown Augusta if you want to watch the race from there. And it's impressive, let me tell you.
Good vantage point.
Yeah. Parents, if you missed today's free car seat check at the Bye Bye Baby store, don't worry. Saturday, Grovetown Police are holding a similar program at Grovetown City Hall. That's going to be from 11 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. It's important for you to check.
Yes, it is. The innovation program at our local VA is creating some new technology that can help veterans who struggle with lower body strength. They call this DEB. DEB stands for Device for Gait, Efficiency, and Balance. It holds magnets that keep the user's feet from getting crossed up, which can lead to a fall. We asked the physical therapist if something like this might be used at home.
They just use it here for right now, but our goal is to eventually say, hey, this is your DEB, let's send you home with it. And as you progress, you can start removing magnets from the device so that it shows your strength is increasing.
It's a great breakthrough. The device already getting a provisional patent. It's been named the top innovation project across the VA in the Southeast. Stay tuned for the full story ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock. We do have a traffic alert for you. GDOT says starting today, Ashley McIntyre Boulevard on the west side of 15th Street will be shut down. Crews are going to be removing and replacing the drainage structures and then rebuilding all of that and then rebuilding the roadway. All this is going to be happening until next Wednesday.
The deadline to donate to Mayor Hardy Davis's book bag drive is now extended to October 5th. The date for the giveaway is also now pushed back to October 7th. It'll be at the Augusta Commons starting at 7:30. You can drop off your school supply donations at the Municipal Building, Tax Commissioner's Office, Augusta Utilities Office, and at the James O'Neill Allstate Agency. Happening this weekend, Aiken County Schools Mustang Classic Band Competition. 5 area schools are performing against each other at L.L. Willis Stadium. That's Midland Valley High School Stadium. The event starts at 2. It goes until 9 o'clock. Tickets are $5 for students, $10 for adults, and free for kids 4 and under, and it's sure to be a great show. South Carolina Lotto players, listen up. Thousands in the Palmetto State may be onto something with wins using identical numbers. Officials say they won money in pick-3 drawings using triple zeros back on the 10th and on the 17th.
And more winners on the 13th using triple ones and triple twos. On the 6th overall, that accounts for more than 33,000 in winning tickets. Total wins in dollars more than $8 million. And we watched the lottery drawing because we're sitting on the set waiting for the lottery to be drawn. And the consecutive numbers, the 13s, the 14s, the 25, 26, people don't really pick those. They pop up all the time.
Okay, so why are we not playing the lottery and taking the advice and seeing these numbers? We should do this, Richard.
We should do this.
And then if we're, not here one night,
you'll know why.
Maybe our viewers will know why.
You can't win if you don't play.
We're on vacation, wink, wink. Still to come on News 12, we head over to McDuffie County where a high-tech barn is speeding up milk production. And the best part, they say it's keeping the cows happy. Riley?
Happy cows are always good, and luckily they're going to enjoy the weather the next few days. It was hot today. We got close to 100 degrees in Augusta, but much cooler into the weekend. Full forecast just after the break.
It's going to get better over time.
They get better when you call my dad.
Milking the cows is going high-tech. Hillcrest Farms in McDuffie County is using robots now on their dairy farm.
Will Wilk shows us how it's working and why they decided to go the robot way.
Mark Rogers runs Georgia's first robotic dairy farm.
We looked at going to robotics because of labor issues. Like every other small business in the state of Georgia, we were struggling to find the right people for the right job.
So now, robots milk his cows. Rogers says they can step up to the machine whenever they feel like it.
They get a little treat while they're in there, so it's kind of cool. But the other thing is they actually feel the pressure and the weight of all that milk, so it actually feels good when you milk them, so they enjoy the experience.
And every time a cow gets milked, the robot keeps a record.
The robot expects 35 pounds. It knows how much milk this cow produces per minute or per day.
He says this technology gives them a lot of information for each cow.
I mean, we monitor the color of the milk. We monitor the conductivity of the milk. We monitor the amount of production per quarter on that cow.
It's a different way of doing things for this 81-year-old farm that's embracing new technology.
This really takes it to a whole nother level.
Endearing, Louisville, on your side.
Okay, if you're interested in seeing it, Deering says they actually offer tours.
Yeah, they were hoping to offer more tours for field trips, student field trips, as we come out of the pandemic. That sort of shut things down, but they're reopening now, and it is fascinating. A lot of science going into milking a cow.
Yeah, and he's very excited about it, and I'm glad that the cows are happy too. That's a good thing.
Happy cows.
Yeah.
Let's have a look outside.
Next Thursday, and next Thursday looking a little bit breezy.
Have an old smartphone or two lying around. They may not be worth anything, but they're not worthless. I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up with a few ideas on how to use old, broken smartphones.
We were just stunned. You know, we thought it was just us. 27 families in Columbia County alone. And then you see that there's another family. The I-Team exposed their pool scam. And for 4 years, families have been waiting for justice.
What do you want to see happen in court?
I want to see them be held accountable. Pool of Problems, an I-Team investigation, tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
By now, most of us have an old smartphone or two lying around the house or left in a drawer in the kitchen. If it's cracked, you can't sell it for anything, right? So what can you do with it?
So go grab those old broken phones. Our consumer tech reporter, Jamie Tucker, has some ideas on how to use them.
We once paid hundreds of dollars for shiny new smartphones when the screen may be cracked, battery doesn't last long, but don't throw them in the trash. Get them out of those drawers and give them a second life.
Once upon a time, people spent money on iPods for music on the go, but if you have an old smartphone you're not using, convert it to a portable music player. Delete all of the apps and photos, and load the device with your favorite tunes from your computer. Plug it into the USB port in your car, and you've got a music player that won't stop when your new phone rings. Old smartphones make excellent bedside or desktop clocks. Apps that display the time and forecast are free, and you can set an alarm just by asking. The FCC requires all smartphones to be able to call for help, even if they don't have any cell service. Keep one in the car or in the kitchen so the kids can always call 911, even if they don't have a smartphone. Old smartphones make excellent TV remotes. Download the app for Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV. The apps are a lot easier to use than the remote that came with the streaming device. You can use old smartphones as security cameras. Download the app Alfred to your primary device and any smartphone. Connect it to a power source, prop it up, and you can use it as a nanny cam. You'll even get a notification on your new phone if it detects movement.
And as long as the phone can connect to Wi-Fi, you can do any of these things. But keep in mind, if it's an old phone like an iPhone 4 or 5, you won't be able to download and install any new apps. You can, however, use those phones as cameras or iPods. They may not be worth anything, but they're not worthless. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Jamie says if you can't remember the passcode to unlock the phone, or if it doesn't turn on or connect to Wi-Fi, you may want to recycle the phone instead of just tossing it in the trash.
Yeah, cellular carriers and most Best Buy stores will take old smartphones and dispose of them properly.
Now, what about all those flip phones that we never threw away?
You still have those?
They're antiques, I know.
They actually put those in museums, Richard. Well, maybe you should contact a museum.
Right there, you've got the old Razor, the old Nokia, the BlackBerry, all the good classics.
Heck yes.
Hey, they're great phones. Indestructible. Weekend forecast looks great. Lower humidity, high temperatures back below average for us. Now look at that full 7 day just after the break.
And Aiken's very own Kevin Kisner representing Team USA in the President's Cup for the second time in his career. We're going to hear from this local favorite after the break.
First time the event is being held at Quail Hollow.
All right, thanks for that. Now, don't forget to vote for Tyson. Right now, he's in first place, but he needs to keep his lead. The disabled cat is competing to become America's favorite pet. That competition runs until the final week of October.
You can vote once a day for free, and we have the website right here on the screen. There's a $10,000 prize on the line. His owner says she's going to use that money to help with this cat's physical therapy, and yeah, we want to support that, don't we?
Yeah, don't let the frog win. The frog was winning until you guys started voting.
We can't have that.
No, we cannot, Riley.
Absolutely not. Glad to see Tyson's back out in front and definitely going towards a good cause there. We do have a cold front moving in. This is kicking up a few showers around town. We just had some rain pass by in Augusta, but now moving south of us, impacting areas around Highway 25 between Gracewood, Blythe, Hephzibah. You're seeing some rainfall about to cross further south into Burke County. These showers will be with us the next couple of hours, but generally dry tonight and sunny skies in our forecast heading into tomorrow and Saturday. How about these temperatures waking up early Saturday all the way down into the upper 40s? We'll stay in the 50s Sunday, and then a nice week ahead next week.
And that's a wrap for News 12 first to 5. But stay with us. There's much more news ahead when Laura Warren joins me for News 12 at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.